Again, welcome to the call. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. You know what? Praise the Lord, because this is his day. That's right. Not Lord Baal either. We're talking about Yahweh. He's so good. And, today is his special day. So I hope you've had some time to rest, reflect, and read. Soak up all the good works. Soak up all the good stuff he's got out there for you. For the last couple of weeks, we've been going through. Welcome to the call. For the last couple of weeks, we've been going through lots of different teachers, lots of different things going on, and my intent is not to go out and smash people and make people look stupid like Kenny Plaster, because he does that all by himself. I don't have to help him do that. But that's not my intent, to make them look stupid. It really isn't. My intent is to help people not be deceived. Okay. Tonight, we're going to be talking about what to wake up, what to expect, what's happening this year. Lots of stuff is happening this year. I'm seeing for the first time, our government is showing, not our government. I want to say our government because it's not our government, but we're seeing some pushback from the IRS. Yeah. And I assure you, they are deputizing all these IRS people, not so they can come help everybody with their tax returns. No, they're doing it for all these 1099 people. Yeah. All right. So, that's some of the stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. But the main thing I'm going to visit you guys with is that there's a lot of people waking up. There's a lot of people realizing that this is not what we thought it was, especially in my generation. And that's the old generation. That's right. But we're still looking good, though. So you can call us old, but we're not looking bad. We're still looking good. Because I'll tell you what, when people were 50, when I was little and I called them old, they actually looked old. I mean, Anyway, so I want to welcome you guys to the call. Tonight, we're going to be talking about what to do when you wake up. I didn't mean to get sidetracked on that. But lots of things changing. And one of the things that I see around us is that if you really pay attention, our music, those of us in Generation X, our music, the artwork, the things coming around us, they were talking to us. They were talking to us. The Land of Confusion song written by what was his name? Phil Collins. He was talking to us. He was telling us that, hey man, this thing's about to boil over. And it is about to boil over. So in this day and age, how do you prepare yourself? I get a lot of folks that come to me and they talk to me and they say, okay, we got to hurry up and get this stuff done because, man, it's coming. And that urgency, okay, you know what? That's honest and that's real. And when you find out that things are not what you thought they were, the first thing you do is look behind you and make sure that nobody's coming to get you, or you run out of the chair like Angela just did. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I was just picking on Angela. But, we've got to pay attention to what's going on. And I'm going to tell you what I see. Okay. So prospectively, I woke up back in 2015. Okay. And everybody thought I was nuts. Oh, they thought I was they thought I was gone. And I got to tell you, this is a lot of information and it can make you a little nuts. And did I go a little bit nuts? That much. For like that long. But no, it was a little longer than that. But I did go a little nuts, okay? And I got to tell you, some folks react to this really differently, okay? You have this group of people that decide they all want to ship off to Gilligan's Island, and that's it. We're unplugging from everything. We're going to simplify our lives, and we're going back to kindergarten. Let's go. And then they all head out the door, right? And you know what? In this country, we have a republic, and you certainly have the right to do that. However, you're not very usable by Yahweh if you're out there, okay? He's not going to help you. As a matter of fact, when we leave his cover, he can't help us. And let me just give you guys a little secret. The one that woke you up, he did it, okay? So what we need to do is not run away from it. We need to not deny it. We need to not say, oh, that was just like some freak spooky dooky thing that happened. And, we're just going to, go back to sleep and we'll figure this out when we get up in the morning, or we'll do it next week. That's the other thing we say here in Texas a lot. And I got to tell you guys, it's fatal. It's fatal. The word says that we're going to perish for a lack of knowledge. Okay. So those of you guys that he's ringing the dinner bell and he's telling you, hey, look around you. These people are robbing from you. These people are stealing from you. These people are using you as cattle, and they just rhymed you with chattel, and it's all the same. So what do you do? What do you do when you do this? Well, okay, the first thing you should do is get upset. I think you should get upset. I think maybe if you need to blow off some steam, go cut the grass. That's what I do. But that's just what I think. You got to do what you do. So when we were waking up today in 2022, the difference between today and 2015 is that there's a lot more people awake. Okay. There are some people that get a little bit of information and they think that's it. That's all they need. And they're down the street with their underwear on their head. We're seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing this in this David Straight group. I'm seeing this in these other movements. Let me do some name drops, and Chad Cater's here today, and I'm really glad he's here because he's been my student forever. I mean, we've just been really good friends. And I think we have a really good friendship. We have a student relationship too, but we have a good friendship too. And, Chad is the kind of guy that goes out and he really is very thorough about everything he does. And I got to tell you, that's one of the things that makes him so positive to have around, because he's the guy. I mean, he's going to check under the lid of everything and he'll find it. If you're looking for it, he'll find it. I don't care what it is. He's better than Jacques Cousteau. He's good. And I've known him for 7 years now. And, we had him on the call about 4 weeks ago, and he actually started some of this stuff with David Straight, and he got behind him because, it made sense. And I got to tell you, I listened to him for like 30 minutes and an hour. And man, I was hooked. Man, I was like, oh, this is the guy. Get the popcorn. We got to watch this. And I'm like checking my little boxes. And then we got into the grandstanding stuff and the special appearance and the whole wonderful world of Disney started to erupt. Okay. And once I started seeing that, I was like, oh, that's it. That's it. He's fallen off the wagon. So what I tell you is this. That doesn't make any sense. It makes sense if I was Asian, but it doesn't make any sense now. I'm sorry. What I'm telling you is this, is that go and study and show yourself approved. Today, in 2022, there are so many people that will lie to you. I cannot tell you how many people I have heard on TikTok that will read the Bible to you and say it says this, and you go look it up and it doesn't say that. Or they'll tell you that this is in there. He'll tell you Yahweh is the devil, and stupid stuff like that is coming out now. And I got to tell you, 25 years ago, nobody even knew who Yahweh was. They would not speak his name anywhere. And the reason why is because that's blasphemy. It's blasphemy to do that. But we're in a different day and age now. We're in a day and age where these people they're not scared anymore. They're not afraid of Yahweh. They haven't seen him yet. And I got to tell you, this world is not controlled by good people, if you haven't figured that out yet. And I mean, none of them. I like how people say, well, I have an attorney that goes to my church. Okay, let's just clue something up here. Okay, you got to remember, I said study and show yourself approved. Let's think about this. When you're in court, who's the one turkey that doesn't get sworn in? No, there's two turkeys. That's right. There's two turkeys in a criminal case that never get sworn in, but yet they get the blah, 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 blah. You know who those people are? The attorneys. Yeah, those. Well, we know a good one that goes to our church. That guy. Yes. And what they've done is they've got this decorative speech that rhymes with other things. And I swear it's a total punk move. And they're waving it right in front of our faces. Why? They call them lawyers. But yet, if they don't have to be sworn in, that means you're giving them permission to be liars, not lawyers. And more often than not, that's exactly what I see. And I'm talking to you. You know who I'm talking to. You're a bunch of liars. And can I tell you this? I don't care what your law books say. My law book and the word of Yah says liars and fornicators and adulterers and homosexuals will not enter in the kingdom of heaven. I don't care how many pronouns you have. It doesn't matter. You didn't write the rule book. And can I tell you, in 2022, I woke up to a very simple fact that all of these religions were religious people. They all belong in a bucket. And I used to hate that. Don't put me in the bucket with these religious people. But you know what? You kind of have to. Yeah. Because these are all man-made religions. They all got created by men. Like, you can go back, you can look at the Mormons, and Joseph Smith, he founded the Mormons. Well, who gave him the right to find anything? Who anointed him to do that? Especially considering that there's already a covenant in place. There's already an agreement in place. And if you look it up in our law books, it's the Word of God. And the Word of God is public law here in the United States of America, still, for now. They're going to change it. Soon somebody finishes reading it all and tells them, we're going to amend that. We'll be right on that. There'll be a 2.0 coming out. But let me tell you something about Yahweh. He doesn't 2.0 anything. You know why? Because he got it right the first time. And if we'll just get off of our little prissy wagons, if we'll just get off of our little pronouns, if we'll just stop getting off and get active and get behind something, you know what? We won't have these problems in government. We won't have pedophiles running around hunting our children. We don't have these problems because those people will be powerless. Who gave them all this power? The guy that's running this place. And guess who it is? It ain't you. It's not me. Are you waking up yet? Are you waking up yet? 25 years ago, I can tell you there were two genders. And we all knew who they were. Today, it's up for debate. It's unbelievable. The things I learned in health class are now up for debate. And guess what? Yahweh's word is not up for debate. And if we follow it, I don't care. And, and a lot of people will say, well, this world is just really tricky dicky, and they just do stuff on you. And you just got to keep up with this stuff, because if you don't keep up with this stuff, they're going to get you. That's a fear you can live in if you want to. But Yahweh's word never changes. Yahweh's word says he'll be the light unto your feet. Yahweh's word says he'll be your protector. Yahweh's word says he'll be there closer than a brother. Yeah, that's in Proverbs. Take some time. Stop reading these sovereign citizen books, okay? Get into his book. And what will happen is he'll take the trash out of your life, and he'll start bringing by people into your life. They're going to bless you. They're going to grow you. And you're going to get there where you need to get, okay? So when we're waking up for 2022, we need to wake up on the right side. We need to wake up with a mindset that we cannot do anything dishonorable and expect to be honorable. You cannot show up and say that I'm here in peace and prop your feet up and disrespect somebody in their temple, in their house, whatever you want to call it. You can't do that and expect goodness to come from that. If you don't believe me, go to your mother's house, go put your feet up on her chair and tell her food sucks, and see if she gives you a hug on the way out the door. Not likely, but you will hit that door, especially at my house. It would happen. It's true. But I got to tell you guys, we got to be better than that. Our parents failed. JFK was assassinated, and the whole world watched it. Went, next commercial. Guys, we gotta do something, because we're losing it. And let me tell you something. It's not going to be done with a whole bunch of people standing up and raking their cups over the bars and saying, we want to be free. Okay, that's not going to get it done. Humble yourself. You know what? Yahweh will show you the desires, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. I'm going to tell you guys how I woke up to all of this. I was very young, my early 20s, going through my first divorce, and, just a really hard time. I lost my kids. Not because of drugs, and not because of cops over at my house, and I had supervised visitation with my kids. and everything possible to just bury me in a system and to cripple me financially, everything possible to alienate me from my children. And certainly, how could this be possible? How could this happen? Well, you know what? It did. And I have a son I haven't seen since in over 15 years. And I'm a joint managing conservator. How did these things happen? Well, I went to every man I thought I could go to try to figure it out. I went to every pastor I thought I could go to try to figure it out, because that emptiness just wouldn't go away. That pain, that resentment, that how could that happen to me, would never go away. If somebody gave you a shot to be a parent, they took that away, and I couldn't understand why. And I also couldn't stop hurting because of it. So perpetually, it drove my music. And I wrote a bunch of music. I started in 40 years old, man, and I started touring again with a band, the Damien Stalker Project, if you guys want to look it up. And when I started learning who my Heavenly Father was, I learned that He doesn't change. And I learned that if I will humble myself and get close to Him and grab His leg like a little 3-year-old does when he walks into a restaurant with a bunch of strange people. Oh my gosh, give me a leg. I got to grab one, right? Grab your Heavenly Father's leg, man. Forget all that other stuff. Forget everything and let Him rebuild. That's exactly what I did. I made a commitment to Him in 2017. And I got to tell you, my life has changed. So for those of you that are waking up in 2022, we're going to open this up for some calls, because I know you guys have a ton of questions about, and I want to filter all those questions. Anything coming from other teachers, anything you've heard. You know what? This is a wonderful, wonderful forum to discuss it, and let's test it. And I'll tell you if I've been down that road or not. I've been down a bunch of them. Okay. I've invested and spent thousands of dollars to learn and to perfect this process. And what I learned more than anything else is that all wisdom and all knowledge comes from humility. And that happens through obedience. And I mean it, no, you're right. You don't have to earn your way to heaven. I'm not telling you that. But what I'm telling you is you need some proof. You know, think if you were like a little kid and you were stuck at the Walmart and they were like, oh, you say those are your parents? Well, prove those are your parents. How are they your parents? How much money's he got in his wallet? Where do y'all live? Where'd y'all go last time? You know what I mean? Little questions like that. We got to ask those same qualifying questions about our walk with Yahweh, but every day. See, not once a week. And I used to check in with him once a week and on the holidays, and, you know, when it was good, or like when the movies tell you to do it, when the world sucks and it's about to end. Okay, now we got to call on God. Let's go talk to him. Right? So I'm going to tell you, it starts with that obedience, with that trust. When you read the word trust, when it says to trust in the Lord with all your heart, it's not talking about what you thought. It's talking about making an agreement. Okay. And when you make that agreement and you decide, hey, I'm going to follow this guy, and I want the blessings. I want those blessings. And you decide that's what you want. He's going to give you closure. He's going to give you a healing. And I got to tell you, I still haven't seen my kids, but I'm still healed inside. It took me 2 years to learn how to play. I played 13 different instruments. I completely lost my ability to play. Seriously. Because I had nothing to tap into. Nothing hurt anymore. Like, I didn't even know what to do. I just looked at my guitars and all my instruments for like a year, and I would play them and a ding, 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 and just, never mind, just put them away. And I couldn't get there. And I got to tell you, this is a time, if you're waking up to this, perfect it. Don't bury that talent out in the field somewhere. Okay. There's a parable about that. Don't do it. Take that talent, man, and grow it. I'm serious. Submit yourself. Whatever's dragging you down, whatever's hurt you, whatever's brought you to this point of, ooh, there's truth. Now we see the Truman movie, right? And I mean, whatever's brought you to this point, know that it came from your creator. It came from the one that made you. Okay. That's where we need to make our contract with, not a bunch of religion. There's no lineup in heaven for religion. There are the people that did it, and there are the people that didn't do it. It's just that simple. Seriously. And this isn't hellfire and brimstone, because that comes later. I won't even tell you about that. It doesn't matter yet. It will, but for right now, it doesn't matter. When you read in Revelation and it talks about there'll be no more tears and gnashing of teeth. Well, the reason he's talking about that is because during that time, millions of people are going to converge on each other, and they're going to be connecting with each other, and they're going to know where they're going. And people are going to be sad. They're going to hurt. And when Yeshua comes down, not Jesus, when Yeshua comes down and he makes that call, they will be as they were, as they never were. That's why he says all the tears will be removed and all the crying is going to stop instantly. Because all of those people that neglected and didn't take the walk, even though you're waking up right now, and they took that talent and they buried it. And they said, you know what, we'll wait for somebody else. I got to tell you, I talked to one of my students this past week. We had a class, and she told me, she said, you know what, Tim, I remember somebody talking to me about this. I remember somebody waking me up about this. And that's exactly what he said. You're saying exactly what he said. Can I tell you? Only Yahweh has that kind of perfection. Only Yahweh has that kind of balance. And you better listen. You better listen. And can I tell you? Run for him. I don't care if you look like an idiot at work. I don't care if everybody thinks you're crazy. Run for him. And his grace will cover all of your stupidity. True. Look at me. I'm stupid. I'm not that smart. I was a landscaping contractor, man. I don't know how I learned all this law stuff, but you know what? I asked him, and he opened the floodgates, and it was like the Matrix. He just, and all of a sudden, a guy that can't spell, a guy that can't write, but he can sing and play his guitar. Now he can't play and sing his guitar, but he can write things to make people quiet now. He can write things because when Yahweh speaks through me, it's over. And most of the time, they don't answer because they can't. I've never had that kind of bliss before. Everywhere I go, I have a front parking space. I'm serious. It does not matter. And those of you guys that know me here and have known me traveling and this and that, every time I pull up to a place, I have a front parking space right by the door. I didn't do that. That's Yahweh. That's his anointing. When I walk in with my service dog, people just sing his praises. It's not me. And yeah, my dog's cute, but I mean, it's not like he did tricks out in the parking lot or anything. I mean, they act like that's what he did, but that's Yahweh's anointing. See, I can't take credit for that. So what to do when you're waking up? Listen to everything that's being said to you, but weigh it, more importantly, okay? Because there's a lot of people that will lie to you. They will straight up lie to you. Next week, I'm going to be sharing a package that Tom actually picked up and shared with me. And it was about doing A for V's. And we're going to go through it. And I've been down the A for V rabbit hole. So I'm going to tell you what I've experienced with it. And how that's, and what it really is, and what this young lady is really trying to do. And I got to tell you, she's a fraud. She's a flat out fraud. She has no idea what she's talking about. And that's dangerous. That's dangerous. When you read your Bibles, okay, and you read in Timothy, it says that during the end times, there's going to be people with lots of different gospels, lots of different messiahs running around. Yeah. Look at all the bands out there in movies with the name Messiah. Search it. Search it. These people are constantly trying to cover this name, and they're trying to keep people from saying it. Do you know why we say God in this country? It's a blatant name. It's a general name, but it doesn't specify any particular God. It could be Zeus, could be the Avengers, it could be anybody, and that's the way they like it. Can I tell you why they have so many different variations of murder on the law books? So you can get away with it. We even have a cliche that says they got away with murder. Think about it. That's real. and they dangle it right in front of your face. You don't have to be on punked to get punked in this country. You don't, and that's real. But here's what you do need to be. You need to be wise. You need to be watching, not just for Yahweh, but watching for the ones that are circling your camp. I can't tell you how many people I see and I talk to weekly having trouble with CPS. Somebody who's mad at me and they just called CPS for the flip of it. And now I got all this bureaucracy to deal with no probable cause, no nothing. They just show up with the whole band playing and the cops playing along and everybody's doing it. If you're awake, you'll see through that spell. If you're serving Yahweh, you're going to most likely see through that spell. You're going to see what they're doing. You're going to see that they're showing up, trying to do something they're really not able to do, but they need your consent to do it. If you watch things going on in ticket court, civil court, you'll see, especially here in San Antonio. Oh yeah, I'm talking to you, Raleigh. By the way, he's not a judge here anymore. Precinct 4. Anyway, you'll see judges here that will manipulate the law to support the businesses, to support the commerce side, and they take the little man and they don't care. This is common. So what does that mean? It means we let these people have a little too much power. You hear me? And we don't have to put up with that. But who's the keeper of all this knowledge? Yahweh is the keeper of this knowledge. So I got to tell you, I'm going to open up the call here. I hope and pray. I'm going to do the last 30 minutes. We're going to do nothing but questions. So I'm going to read some questions here. And I want you guys, hey, if you want to come and take my classes, you can. I mean, that's totally fine. But weigh everything that I teach you. Weigh everything that any man teaches you, because we're fallible people. We're going to make mistakes. So Erica is telling me, she says, I admit this is stressful to think if I have to do correctly and as fast as I can. FYI, can I get a long form birth certificate? And by the way, you can ask any questions you want tonight. I don't care. And any other night for that matter. If I took the day off to get my SS cards and birth certificates and other things, yeah, Erica, you may have to do that. These things, they're I'm sorry, but they are just time parasites, and they do this on purpose so you won't go do it. They make it hard to do so you won't go do it. Seriously, you ever tried to? You hear the people trying to apply for disability? I mean, it's just right off the back. You're gonna get turned down the first time. They already know. Well, who's serving who? That's what I want to know. Because I mean, like, if you went to a restaurant and they took your order and they was like, you know what, we're not going to make it, but if you make your order again, we might make it. You get your stuff and get up out of there, huh? I would. Most other people would too. See, we have to remember that these are bonded employees and they have a duty to serve the public. We can hold them accountable, but we got to buy the right books. We have to own the right books. Anyway, all right. So I hope you guys are writing that down. I'm reading some other comments. Angela writes, yeah, you're awesome. You're just so awesome. I've been caught up in the UCC from my state. It is a computer generated, different from service. A few questions to clean up my process. Go ahead. If you want to, I can unmute you if you want to ask some questions. It's totally fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So, of course, the UCC form is computer generated and it's asking all kinds of other questions. So I have to click here and click there, and so I'm probably gonna have to have you go through it with me. You can go to that website and look at the you can probably look at it too, but it's not like a form. It's you fill in everything and then
and then it goes in.
You do next, and then you do that, and then you go next and do that. So they generate it through that way.
Perfect.
So there's more questions that is not on the other UCC things. Like, let's see. Let me see if
go ahead and go through them, and I'll tell you now. We'll tell you now, because I mean, and what state are you in? So everybody knows.
I'm in Mississippi, so.
That's a state nobody knows how to spell.
Yeah. It's
I
M-I,
just never
crooked
mind.
letter, M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I.
See,
PPI.
you have to be programmed to learn to spell that freaking
It's
steak. I'm
hard.
telling you, the proof
But
is in the pudding.
anyway, so they have filer name and then they have packet number. Um,
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but it
Your
has
packet number could be your IBL number. You know that, like the IBL number that we're using on the commercial security agreement.
okay. And then it says alternate filing type, which I put a debtor is a transmitting utility. Correct?
Hold on a second. Let me look. Let me pull the form out here, and I'll look at it real quick with you.
Only because I heard you say
What line is that?
on my sheet it's the second set
Does it
filing.
say like 3? Should it say like 1A, 1B, 1C? Does it give
No,
you a designation like that?
no. It just says packet number and beside it says optional filer reference, miscellaneous info.
Yeah,
And
you don't have to
then
pull any of that out. It's okay. You don't have to
right.
put any of that in there. That's cool.
And then it says alternate filing type
You're
and
not
then
an alternate.
alternate name designation.
Yeah, you're not doing any of that. There's no alternate names on yours. You're just doing a straight filing.
Okay.
So an alternate name would be like if I was filing your UCC for you because I'm an agent and I work for you. That would be
Okay.
an alternate filing name.
So the packet number is supposed to be my bond.
No, I would put the
Yeah.
I would put on your packet number. And and everybody that took the class too this weekend too, one thing I forgot to tell you guys is that the indemnity bond needs to be printed on bond paper. Okay, so not everybody has that. So those of you that decide that you want me to do your certificate of trust, along with your certificate of trust, just go ahead and mail me your indemnity bond, or you can send me the file and through my email, and then I'll go ahead and print it up here and I'll mail it back to you so you get it on the proper paper. It's 100% cotton, and I forgot to tell everybody that it's 50-pound. I'm sorry, 32-pound, 100% cotton paper is what it's supposed to be on. So you know, all bond paper. So I have it. If you guys want to do that and send it to me, I'll print them to you and I'll print them off to you, and then you can, and I'll send them back to you so you can get them notarized and signed and all that stuff. So if you want to do that, I'm here. I'm happy to do it for you because, like I said, I got a whole bunch over here. But what else you got, Angela? What else is?
Okay, so you said the packet number was what again?
It's going to be like the go to your commercial security agreement.
Okay.
Did you see the commercial security agreement invoice number on top?
Yeah, I don't.
Should be the initials, the date of birth, CSA. Remember that?
Okay, let me pull that up right quick. Commercial. Let me look here. Okay. All right.
So you'll see that number at the top. Just for the sake of time, we'll just move forward.
Yeah, invoice number.
Yeah, just use that invoice number as your packet number. That's fine.
Okay. And another question: what is the exemption number?
The exemption number is the red number on the back, red or black number on the back of your Social Security card.
Social Security number card. Okay.
And if you don't have it, you can always write private.
Okay. And down here on that same agreement, there is what's called a FEIN number. I know you know it's a federal employer identification number.
Yes.
And it says last 4 digits, and it looks like a Social Security number.
It is. It is. Just put the last 4. Yeah, you can put the last 4, last 2, the first and the second, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so I did that. All right. Cool. I just wanted to have that now.
Straight A's and B's.
Yeah. And that's all for now on that particular part. So
awesome. Any other questions, comments? And if you've heard any other teachings or any stuff you just want to throw out there on the forum just to see if it's any good or not, and throw it out here. If you're considering somebody's method, throw it out here. And I'm not going to just give you a comment and say, oh, it's bad because I said so. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. And, you know, If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. I got a lot of experience, been around. So Erica, go ahead.
So what I was saying in that little message is I did take the day off and I did request the long form birth certificates. They do electronic. They don't,
Yes.
it's not even an option to get one. So
get the COL, get the birth certificate then, and go ahead and get it authenticated.
Okay, so the one that I got. So
correct.
I mean, that was
go ahead and send that little dude off to get it authenticated if you can. And I'm going to tell you, the door is closing on a lot of this. So those of you that are trying to get your certificates of live birth, you better hurry up and get them. I know in Texas, they won't give them to you downtown. You have to call online. I had to call somebody online, the 800 number, and explain to them, like, we're in kindergarten, so that they would get it.
Right. So, I actually did try to order online, and it was I ended up calling, and they were like, no, you can't do that, and we only offer this. So I just drove down to and got them. I got them, but I'm like, I don't know how to get these authenticated if they're not signed.
Okay, so yeah, it's okay. They don't have to be. Just go ahead and send them because they're not signed. That's even more of a reason to get them authenticated. So go ahead and go to your Secretary of State's website for authentications. And then just tell them, you remember the non-ag country, probably China, somebody like that you want to pick, and go ahead and get it authenticated on the state level. And then you want to send it off to the Fed and get it, the Secretary of State's office, and get it done there too as well.
And that's where we do the priority mail.
Yes, and make sure that you give them a return envelope in there, so
they can send two at the same time, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So when you're in the post office, just tell them, hey, I need double postage and return on this before I seal this up. And then they'll go ahead and stick it on there, and it'll be good to go. And just tell them, it's for this document to come back.
So, I mean, this is a stupid question. Why do I need to pay twice for 2 pieces of paper?
It's jurisdiction, state jurisdiction, federal jurisdiction. And anytime you're getting a bond authenticated, you want to make sure that you get the 2 lateral jurisdictions covered. And by having that, you have the front page that's going to give you all of your entitlements to full faith and credit. And that's what you need in order to execute the trust and execute the things on behalf of the trust. Otherwise, you're like one of these judges that just assumes control and just takes it.
Yeah. So this is ideally the first thing, is to get this birth certificate sent out to get authenticated. So you go to the post office and you say, look, I need it to go because I'm going to go to China, whatever. And then ask them to pay the double postage, but put one envelope in there.
But yeah, well, put both envelopes. Yeah, you need to put one envelope in there so they can mail it back to you. Yes.
Okay. And then I did have one other question, since I'm going to be filling this out for my son too. I wouldn't need to do all of these documents for my son because he doesn't own anything.
Yeah, but he's an individual estate, and you're managing his estate. So yes, you would. And then he would be the signator for the straw person for his account, and then you would be the secured creditor and the one that's basically taking care of him. So yes.
Okay.
Right. Tim.
Give me just a second. I got one in front of you. Of you. Hold on, Rebecca. I see you there, though. Hold on. Go ahead, El Paso.
How's it going, Tim?
It's good.
Okay, yeah. So you were saying about other teachings and things of that nature. Well, as far as the trust goes, I'm hearing a different way to get a hold of it. This is the QB trust, and that's basically to get off the water, take dominion over the land, and take dominion over the maritime, things like that. Then you go into canon law. They're saying in order to get the trust, that you would have to go through probate court. So that's completely different from what we've been.
Can you speak up a little bit, bud? Or maybe because you're kind of in a windy place, it's hard to hear you, man.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Oh wow, like way better. Yeah, let's start over.
Okay. Yeah. So
welcome, El Paso.
As far as the QB trust goes, I'm hearing a different route that others are supposedly taking, to gain control of it. So it's basically they're going to court, to the probate court,
Oh, yeah, I've heard that
to
one.
access it.
Yeah,
But
that's what
as
those
far as what
IRS
we've been
agents are
going
for.
over, that's,
So let me
so
let me take you down that rabbit hole real quick, and I'll save you a lot of time because I can explain everything that you're telling you. I've heard this
Okay.
before. This is a popular process to go in to probate court and kill your straw man in there and this and that. Here's the problem that you have: you don't have anybody appointing in a fiduciary relationship, okay? And because because the legal fiction is still represented by the authorized representative, which is still living, and no death certificate has been created, the probate courts have no jurisdiction over a living person. Okay. Now, yes, the Siskiyou v. Trust is technically it is an entity, and it's certainly not a living person, but it still is considered a person. Okay. And so until they close the trust, probate court can't go in there. So what happens is, and I'm going to tell you, I've been to probate court and I tried this. And I had a judge sit me down, and he said, "You seem like a nice guy, and if this had been anybody else, I would have you arrested for what you're doing. But I don't think you have any wrong intent. Number one, if you're going to file anything in probate court, you must have property in that county, not a trust, and not a birth certificate. That doesn't count. Okay. So number two, if you try to kill off somebody in there with a birth certificate, you're committing fraud on the land, and you will go to jail. You will. And I'm telling you, he just let me make it. My $180 filing fee that I filed, and I was all excited and all this and that. He was really nice, and he knew that I didn't have any intent to do anything wrong. I just told him I'm trying to manage this trust better than what I've been doing. And so I had no criminal intent. He goes, "Well, this is not the way to do it, and don't do this in my courtroom again." So I'm going to tell you, if you decide to go through this probate court thing, you're going to get yourself in trouble because you're committing fraud. You're telling the court that the estate of this person, number one, holds property, and number two, you're giving the court jurisdiction to literally take apart your trust. And you certainly don't want to do that. Now, the students that took class with me this weekend, and we had 7 really wonderful students in class, by the way. Thank you all for being there. We discussed a better way. And the way to do this properly is to set up a fiduciary relationship and then move under that relationship. Now, I'm not going to go into, really great details, because then I'll be teaching my class, and that's not what we do publicly. So if that's something you're interested in doing, you're interested in getting more information and learning how to do this, and I'm not going to say properly, I'm going to just tell you to learn how to do this with a way that actually works. How's that? Forget properly, improperly. I'll be able to explain it to you, and you'll understand it. And not only that, but you'll be able to explain it to somebody else without their eyebrows running off the back of their head. Okay. And you'll be able to explain it to your tax professional so that you can do your taxes, and he or she will not look at you like you're crazy, unless you go to Walmart and you hit up one of those guys, because they don't know anything. But outside of that, if you go to a real honest CPA and you explain this to them, and you explain what you have after you've done my class, they're going to know exactly what you're talking about. And that is a test. Okay. If you guys are listening to these guys and they're talking about, these little theories, what they're doing is they're having court in their living rooms. Literally. They all sit around, they drink the Sovereign Citizen moonshine. It's after 11 o'clock. They all get a little bit saucy. And then they start going, all right, well, if we got this, we got this, then we must have this. Because they've been up all night trying to find solutions to everything else, and they just can't get there. So out of desperation, and because people are tired, this is what happens. And little ideas like this get hatched. I had a student tell me the other day that there was a teacher out there that said that the insurance that's on your loan is just like the car insurance that's on your car. No, they're two different things completely. You're insuring, the loan has insurance on the loan. If you guys walk into your bank, it says everything's insured by FDIC for what, 250,000, right? Or 300, I think it is 250,000. I don't remember, but because it doesn't really matter, because you can go get a loan at the very same bank for 400,000. Now, how does that happen? See, those are things that you start realizing when you start waking up. When you start looking around and you see these signs that says your deposits are insured for $250,000. Now you want them to convert one of their deposits into 450,000. Well, how are they going to do that? Well, there's a little window down there at the end of the bank, and they got another one at the post office, and it looks like a handicap window, but it's really not a handicap window at all. There's an acronym. It's called the TT&L window. Yeah. What do you do when you wake up to that and you figure out that TT&L stands for tax, treasury, and lien, not tax, title, and license? I spent 22 years in the car business. It took a year for me to just so I could even say that. We got a lot of thick programming out here. And can I tell you, you need a supreme being with supreme knowledge to get you through this without going to jail. Or you can just hide up behind your notebook like Anna von Wright does and just lie. I don't know what she does, but you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, go ahead, Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Rebecca. What you got?
Hey,
hope that
I
answered
just
your
have a
question, by the way.
question.
Go ahead.
So before the meeting, I found my paperwork that I have ready. That I told you that I have prepared. So I have the UCC1 financing statement and UCC -180, the W8 certificate of foreign status.
Oh, you didn't get that from me.
No. Affidavit of tax exempt foreign status, termination of franchise, the hold harmless agreement, and IRS Form 56 notice concerning fiduciary relationship. So my question is, what do I send? What don't I send?
Throw it all in the trash.
All of it.
All of it. And here's why. Let's talk about the foreign. Let's just take one document at a time. That way it doesn't sound like I'm just being a killjoy and I'm no fun over here because of the gray hair I have. I mean, none of you millennials get crazy now. I'm not trying to kill your joy, but I'm going to explain it to you. What was the Form 56? Was that the first thing you talked about, right?
It was the UCC1 financing statement and UCC -1AD. But I do have a commercial security agreement already, as well as I have my birth certificate authenticated at my state level.
Okay, don't throw that in the trash then.
No. I know that goes to Sterling, Virginia, correct?
Say again?
Or the next step for my birth certificate, that goes to Sterling, Virginia, or does that go to DC?
Okay, so once you authenticate it on the state level, you're going to send it to Washington, D.C., to the Secretary of State's office there, and you get it right. But let's go through the forms. Let's go through the forms that you brought up. So the Form 56, the Notice of Fiduciary Duty. Look, I have no notes in front of me, and I can tell you what all this stuff says right off the top of my head. So the Form 56, Notice of Fiduciary Duty, that's a real popular one that's thrown out there, and everybody says, you need to fill this out. Well, unless you have a trust agreement in place, you're committing fraud with the IRS, because there is no fiduciary duty unless you have a contract, a trust, or an agreement. Fact. So now let's talk about this. What was that WBEN foreign? What was that? The foreign trust thing?
There's a W8 certificate of foreign status and affidavit of tax exempt foreign status. But that's like.
Let's do one at a time. Hey, there's Eric. Man, I was waiting for you, bud. Yes, Eric's here. We're going to have some good questions now. Eric is the question machine. Man, I'm going to tell you what, man. If you want a Diet Coke, hit the Diet Coke, man. It will come out. If you want a Sprite, he's got your Sprites. He's got them all. But let's talk about this foreign relationship thing that you're talking about. There's a lot of people out there that believe in setting up foreign trusts, okay? And can I tell you, unless you have an address that you actually go to and reside at that's outside of the United States, not just demographic, it needs to be like really outside. Like it really needs to be over there. Because in order for you to operate a foreign trust in this country, you have to have an address there and you have to be doing business here. Okay. So,
Yes.
so that is the one major thing that I see with a lot of these guys that is talking about doing all this stuff. It's like they're moving you out of the country.
Yeah.
And you're not moving out of the country. You're just changing seats at the table. You've decided that you don't want to pick the strawberries anymore. That's all. You're not cleaning. You're not going to be the maid anymore. That's all. All you're doing is moving positions. So what you're essentially doing with my process is that you're putting all of your assets into a trust, including your children, including everything. So it's protected and it's a private trust. So people can't see it. So if you're listening to somebody that's telling you to, hold on a second. I'm going to mute you for a second because there's some kind of something going on back there behind you. I don't know what that was. Sound like a boogeyman back there, but sometimes it is. I've had the boogeyman show up on my show a few times. It's happened. It gets into people and they go, and they make really messed up faces. That's when you know he's here. Trust me. I'll start saying things and their faces start saying, you're like, what the heck is wrong with them? Don't worry. It's completely normal. It happens all the time. It's okay. It's just the dark ones showing up because that's what they do. I'm going to tell you, truth divides a lot of people. You hear me? I'm going to say that one more time. Truth divides people. You want to bring a whole bunch of people together, tell them they can get something for free, lie to them. And that's exactly what you'll do. And in this day and age, and waking up in 2022, there are more liars on this street than I've ever seen in my lifetime. There are more blasphemers just blatantly out there. Just, here it is. I don't care what you do to me. Woo. And you know, I got to tell you, Yahweh does so much more than give me a parking space. Okay? He protects me. I've had 2 counties come after me. Yeah, 2 of them. And I'm still here. I had 2 counties come after me and manufacture charges against me. And they just made it up. And you guys can see this. I have dismissals on all this stuff. If you guys want to see this, I'll show them to you. But just request them at any time. I'm happy to do it. I got to dig them out. But they're over here. They're really over here in the pile. And, I had to put up $40,000 in bonds just for a Class B misdemeanor. I had a kid next to me that was getting arraigned for having a machine gun and all kinds of automatic weapons. And the ATF came and got him. And his bond was only 10 grand. Go figure, But it's because we have an oppressive system. It's because we have a system that weaponizes itself against its citizens. Bear County, Houston County, Bandera County. You do it. That's what y'all do. That's called organized crime. That's what that is. How do we stay ahead of that? Stay plugged in. So when I'm telling you, all of you guys that are waking up right now in this mass explosion of knowledge where people are super smart, people are converting their gas cars into electric cars like all over the country, and they're doing it in their garage. I saw a guy build a Mini Cooper for $3 grand. And he doesn't have to pay Joe Biden to drive anywhere. That's what's up. That's my joke, by the way. I always say that. Oh, well, we have to pay Joe Biden to go down the street. We're in this car today. And that's what I say, because that's what he's done. It's all stick 'em up around here. But can I tell you, the sovereignty of this country is found within its individuals, not its persons. And can I tell you, in 1967, Yahweh's people occupied 143 square miles of Israel. That's it. That's all they had. And Egypt and Syria went to war with them at the same time. They took Yahweh to war with them. And in 6 days, they destroyed those 2 countries, destroyed them. And they were being funded by Russia at the time. So, I mean, they're like, hey, what do you need, man? We got your credit card. We'll send it. We got tanks. We got this. We got everything. They even had soldiers there. And they smoked those guys. And I mean, this isn't a Bible story. This just happened 50 years ago. And you know what? It can happen again. It can happen to you. You guys are confused about what's going on. You need clarity. Tap into clarity. Our God is a God of balance, and not just a little balance, perfect balance, because he's perfect and we are not. Your oppressor that's coming against you, trying to take your children, that's an imperfect being. So what happens when you have a whole bunch of imperfect beings together? Well, Yeshua addressed that situation and sent them all into a bunch of unclean pigs, and they all ran off the cliff. Yep. You want that kind of power in your life? It comes with more than just knowledge. You got to change who you are. But can I tell you, you can't? Can I tell you that repentance, when you repent, you're asking for a miracle. You're asking for Yahweh to do something in your life that you yourself cannot do. How many times do we tell our kids, hey, well, I'm going to go work on it? Like we got a workshop upstairs and we just work on our marriage up there with screwdrivers and tools and stuff. No, that's not the case. We need him. So I'm going to tell you, I got a few minutes left. If you're not on your knees, you're not going to get through this walk. If you're puffed up and proud, you're not going to get through this walk. Excuse my language, if you're talking shit, you are not going to get through this walk, because there's no fruits of the Spirit in that. There's no goodness in that. These people that are, screaming and yelling at people, trying to scream truth into their living rooms, like Patrick Devine. Remember, you guys listened to his tape. The guy's a jerk. I've talked to him. I talked to him years ago. That's not how it gets done. Don't sit on the phone and listen for 3 hours of conversation just to get a little nugget. Tap into Yahweh. Yeshua has already paid the price. You can get everything. That's how I did it. In closing, there's no altar calls here today, guys. The only altar call is at your house. The only church you need to go to is the one at your house. The only knees you need to get on is yours. And the only face you should bury in the sight of Yahweh is yours. Mine too. Pray for me. I need the prayer, and all of y'all need the practice. I assure you. Seriously. And I'm going to be praying for you for the very same reasons. Yahweh loves you, and he's giving you this knowledge. Don't be a fool. Don't bury this stuff. Chase him. Find him. No matter where he is, you just find him. Like those people that tore the roof apart just to lower somebody through to get them better for Yeshua. Learn his ways. Learn how to be a Hebrew. You guys want to be Christ-like? Well, he was a Hebrew. So you better learn how to be a Hebrew. If you want to find something that's real, don't be religious. There's only one covenant Yahweh gave to man. Only one. Find it. That's what I did. That's how it all came together. I want to thank all of you all for being here tonight. I want to thank every one of you for the wonderful questions we've had tonight. Yahweh is good, and he's the key to all this. It's humility. That's what's going to get you there. He'll give you understanding. He'll give you closure. You got stuff coming after you. You got a storm coming after you. You be the storm. Take him to battle with you. Walk in truth. Walk in absolute righteousness. Know that everything you're doing is above board, and nobody will be able to shake your steps. Nobody will be able to shake you. They won't kick you out of your house. They won't take your kids away. They won't even talk about it. They'll look the other way when they see you. I know, because this happens to me every day. They won't even answer me. I wrote a letter to our mayor here in Converse, and on the back of his card, it says, schedule a meeting with me and this, and I'm just open and transparent to everybody. You know what? His lawyer wrote me back a letter for an open records request. Yeah. That's when you know you're walking in the door with something strong. Okay? You're walking in the door with something that works. And I'm going to tell you guys, Shannon, Erica, Joshua, Chad, Chad knows. All of you guys. It works. And I just want to show you guys the way. So we'll get together every Monday night at 6 p.m. We were talking about doing a Bible study. It's looking like that's going to show up maybe on Sunday nights, probably next month. So be looking for that. We're going to be going through the Torah. I'm going to show you guys some real rules of equity. That's all in the New Testament. That's where all the answers are, man. And we're going to go through that. I'm going to show you guys what I know. And hopefully Yahweh will show you some things that we can share and that we can learn too. Because I know that's why you're here. You're all awesome. You're all amazing people. Every one of you. And you're all special in Yahweh's eyes. Don't you forget that. I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week. Pay it forward. See somebody. Give them a hug. Do something, man. Let them know. And you know what? Yahweh will bless you for it. I promise. Y'all have a wonderful week. We'll see y'all next week. Good night, everyone.